our guest tonight, no stranger to this program, Philip J. Berg, joining us from Pennsylvania on the Skype, I believe, tonight. And Philip Berg, author of ObamaCrimes.com. Obama Crimes is the website for Phil Berg. Philip J. Berg, Esquire, the first attorney who filed the lawsuit against Barack Obama on August 21st of 2008, challenging Obama's lack of constitutional eligibility to actually even serve as president of the United States. And the only way to really guarantee that Obama will not be president for a second term is to expose Obama for the fraud that he really is, the phony, the imposter. And Obama's put forth, one of the greatest hoaxes in American history. And this right from ObamaCrimes.com in over 230 years. And the alleged free press media, so-called media, has even refused to investigate this obvious, and public elected officials have just refused to even acknowledge what Philip Berg has tried to put forth to get this information out there. And why is that exactly? So we will ask Phil Berg these questions and many more, and take your phone calls again to call in 877-789-ALEX to call in and talk to our guest tonight here on the program. Welcome to the program, Phil Berg. How are you doing?
Fine. Excuse me. It's my pleasure to be on your show. I, too, have known Alex for a number of years, and I appreciate what he's doing, and I hope everyone out there supports his efforts with this money bomb, because it's essential that people like Alex Jones get spread around and can speak with the truth of what's going on in this country, because so many lies are put forth. The biggest lie, as far as I'm concerned currently, is the fact that Obama was born in Hawaii. It's so bad it's a joke. But the thing is, it's detrimental to all of us, because he really doesn't belong there. You really can't impeach him because he doesn't belong there. The only way to get him out is legally. I hope at the next effort at the polls that he loses at the polls, but I'm going to continue my effort to expose Obama for the reason that everything he's passed, everything he's done is illegal. It's like Obamacare and everything else that he's brought into this country for the last 4 years that has hurt us, and really it has. If I can expose him, these things would have to be overturned and go down the drain. In addition to your money bomb, I've been requesting people to make contributions. I'm shooting for a much higher number, and people haven't done it. But if you can, in addition to money bomb, match whatever you're giving to them to us. We're trying to raise enough money to expose him by way of putting out a reward for the person who has the information which will expose Obama, because someone has it out there. I went to some big money people asking for $2 million, and it hasn't come through yet, but there's people out there that are spending so much money for Obama, and on the other hand, so much money for Romney, that if they would put up a reward, I really think that someone has the information and he would be exposed. And can you just imagine if in the next 3 weeks we could expose him for what he really is? He would go down the drain big time. You know where Obama belongs right now? Not in the White House, ladies and gentlemen. You know where he belongs?
The big house.
He belongs in the big house. He belongs actually in prison because of what he has done to this country. He was born in Hawaii like I was born in Hawaii, and I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have on our website something from Sarah Obama, and people said they've changed it, but we have a video of Sarah Obama with her, I'm pretty sure video, if not the audio. We have her words that were, she speaks in Swahili. And we had a minister here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, on the phone with one of his ministers in Africa, sitting next to Sarah Obama in her home in Kenya, and asked the question, where were you August 4th, 1961? And she states in Swahili, and it's translated, that she was in the hospital August 4th, 1961, where Obama was born in the hospital in Mombasa, Kenya. It's pretty hard to overcome that. But unfortunately, as you mentioned, the media has never done anything here. Yeah. Remember what happened with the media with Palin when she was nominated for vice president.
Right.
Our media ran to Alaska. They looked under every stone, behind every door, and opened every drawer, and questioned her about anything and everything. What did they do with Obama? Nothing. It's a shame. I think this country decided several years ago through the power brokers, it's not you and I, it's some of the money people, that Obama, they wanted a black president. Now,
well, I don't get, what I don't understand, Phil, is that this should be like the biggest story for Republicans to play off of here going into November with the elections. Why hasn't the Republican Party made this an issue here in 2012? Why wouldn't the Romney folks make this an issue here in 2012? Is this the issue just died? Why is it suddenly a non-issue here in 2012?
It doesn't make sense. The only thing I can think of, a lot of people come out first off and say, Hillary Clinton, why didn't she bring it out? And I think she didn't bring it out for the reason that, in my opinion, Obama probably had something on her or her husband. High politics here, they deal with all kinds of stuff. They have stuff on her. Who knows what it could be on Hillary? There's so many questions about her, like, her sexuality and things like that, which I could care less. One thing, let me bring out to everyone here. The fact is, they keep saying this is a right-wing conspiracy. I blow that because I'm a lifelong Democrat. I'm still registered Democrat. I ran for governor in Pennsylvania and also U.S. Senate in the primaries. The party people don't want me because I won't kiss their butts. Then many people on the air, I've been on probably 2,000 radio shows since 2008 when I started this. Then people say, well, you're a racist. And I said, well, on radio, I said, you can't see me. I happen to be white. I happen to be Jewish, but I'm also a paid up member of the NAACP. So they don't know what to do with someone like me. And they say, well, how can a Democrat sue a Democrat? And I say, well, the most important factor is the U.S. Constitution. That's more important than any political party. So they don't know what to do with me. I haven't gone away. I'm going to keep going if it takes 5 more years to expose this guy, because everyone around him belongs in jail at this point.
Well, Phil, that's really what the main issue here is. And the main issue should be is that if you're not a citizen, you can't be president. And, and years ago, I don't want to say about 7, 8, 9 years ago, Alex did the website. So here at InfoWars, we came up with the website, ArnoldExposed.com. And there was an old site, but it raised the same issue to expose our Arnold for the crook he is, and that, and to emphasize that he wasn't born in the United States, and he could not have a legitimate run for presidency. But that's the main issue here, Phil, is that if you're not born in the USA, as the Chiefs Marine song says, then you can't run for president. And why haven't we seen a real birth certificate thus far?
I don't know, but interesting, on Arnold Schwarzenegger, before his current problem, which everyone knows what's going on, right. Many times in the last 10, 15 years, they asked him about running for president. And what did he constantly say? He said, amend the Constitution. I mean, he admits the fact he wasn't born here in the United States. What does Obama do? Obama ignores it. Obama walks all over our Constitution. There's 2 issues here. Number one, I have no question, if I had $1 million, I would even bet the fact that I'm right, that he was born in Mombasa, Kenya, Africa. The next thing is, even if he, listen carefully, even if he was born in Hawaii, which he wasn't, but let's say he was, his parents divorced when he was 2 or 3 years old. His mother remarries. She remarries a fellow named Lolo Sotoro, Soetoro, from Indonesia. And he goes to Indonesia with his mother. There's a law in the 1960s. There was problems in Indonesia. They were at war. The only ones who could go to school there were individuals that were natural born. Well, we knew he wasn't natural born, but it also said if he was adopted or acknowledged by his stepfather, then he could be considered natural born. But we have the school record. The school record indicates his name is Barry Sotoro. It indicates that his nationality is Indonesia, and it indicates that his religion is Islam, which is Muslim. So how do they get away with that? So even if he was a citizen, he gave up that. People then raise the question to me, well, how can a minor have his citizenship given up, even if he was a citizen of the United States? I said, well, that's the law. And the thing is, between the ages of 18 and 21, he could have denounced his citizenship in Indonesia and reaffirmed his citizenship in the United States if he had any. But there's nothing saying he did that.
Yeah.
We believe at age 10, when he went back to Hawaii to live with his grandparents, that he used an Indonesia passport. And that follows up because at age 20, what does he do? See, a lot of the stuff he can't get away from because he put it in his books, which I don't think he wrote, but whoever wrote them. And it's at age 20, we know that he went to Pakistan. Well, citizens of the United States were forbidden to go to Pakistan at that time, which was 1980. But how did he go there? Before he went to Indonesia, what did he do? Before he went to Pakistan, what did he do? He stopped in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Why did he stop there? I'm pretty sure he stopped there to renew his passport. Before everything got clamped down, someone did a Freedom of Information request, a FOIA request, to see Obama's passport. And it came, before he sealed records, it came back, there's no such passport for Barack Obama.
Well, it's been 4 years, Phil. I mean, it's been 4 whole years. I mean, this guy, there's been numerous birth certificates. I mean, there's a birth certificate, then there's not a birth certificate, then there's the Photoshop version of the birth certificate. I mean, how many of these documents are there?
Well, but they're all fraud. I mean, the latest thing is, if we remember back about a year and a half ago, on April 27th, 2011, Obama comes out of, this is when Trump was after him. Obama comes out into the press room at the White House, says, here's my birth certificate. It was the latest false birth certificate. Experts around the world have all said there's more holes. My line is there's more holes in that than Swiss cheese. but experts around the world have all said that was a phony. But the media hasn't gone after him. I think this would be a perfect time for the Republicans to go after him. But in a way, they don't want to get involved in the issue. But it looks like Romney's pulling ahead. I think Romney's going to win, but my efforts will continue. I believe everyone around Obama, and I'm talking his wife, I'm talking his campaign staff, I'm talking Howard Dean, he was the head of the Democratic National Committee. Thank you for bringing up the date that I filed suit August in 2008. We sued Obama and we sued the Democratic National Committee.
Right.
And why did I sue both of them? I thought, wrongly, if we had a true, honest political party here that... Well,
being the good Democrat that you are, Phil, you thought that, that there might be some justice on the Democratic Party. But are they conspiring this information knowingly?
Well, I think what happened is I expected them to call Obama in the room and tell Obama that, listen, if you're not natural born, you're not even getting nominated. But obviously what happened, I didn't hear from the DNC. About a month later, when they had to file some kind of papers in federal court, it was a joint paper between the Democratic National Committee and Obama. So I knew at that point it was a fraud. They were in bed together. Howard Dean just sent the whole thing in a spin, which just showed they're going to fight us all the way. And we have fighted. I filed over the years, one recently this year, 5 lawsuits against Obama, because I know he's, and you use the word, he's a fraud, he's a phony. I also had, very interesting for your listeners, many know, or remind some and new for other listeners, I filed 4 applications for injunctions again to the United States Supreme Court. And they would not deal with each one. I tried to delay the election. Well,
exactly. But Phil, what are some of the charges? What's the main charge you would want to bring him up on right now?
Main charge is he's a fraud. He's a phony. I mean, he also, think back. There's many people who remember him from going to school in California at Occidental. They remember calling him Barry. I think his legal name today is Barry Soturo. You can use an alias, but not for fraudulent purposes. And he's using it for fraudulent purposes. I mean, there's so many charges that could go. But the biggest thing is he has no right to be a president because he's not natural born. Now, let me back up on that for a minute. For your listeners out there, if you have husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the relationship, and both are U.S. citizens traveling any place in the world, and if they have a child any place in the world outside of the United States, when that child comes back through immigration, that child is considered natural born, okay?
Right.
But in the case of when only one parent is a U.S. citizen, you have to go by the law in effect at that time. Well, the law in effect in 1961, and it's set by Congress, it's set by the Senate, okay, stated that if only one parent is a U.S. citizen, to convey natural-born status, that parent would have lived in the United States for 10 straight years. His mother did. However, there's another requirement that 5 of those years had to be after the age of 14. 14 and 5 is 19. She was only 18, so she could not have conveyed natural-born citizenship when he was born in Africa. Some people say, oh, that's a technicality. It's not a technicality. It's the law. Like right now, I think the law is 15 plus 2 years. But Congress sets that law. The law was there, and he violated it. But more important, he knows he's a fraud. When you ever see Obama or Michelle Obama laughing, you know who they're laughing at? They're laughing at the over 300 million people in this country because they know they're a fraud. They know it's funny.
Well, sure.
They're using this. I mean, last year, were you one of her good friends that she took about 40 friends over to Europe for a little vacation?
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah,
and spent millions of dollars. Well, because they're taking advantage, and right now there's word that if he loses, they're buying him an $8 million estate out.
Well, Phil, what are some of the cover-ups? Just to interject, Phil, what are some of the types of cover-ups that have occurred since the probe into the investigation for the birth certificate?
Well, there's been so many lawsuits. The big thing is the courts have stated, basically, we were the first one, and the other suits have followed suit, that we don't have standing to bring in an action, which is absurd because everyone in this country should have standing because we're all affected by the president. The big cover-up is where he was born. I mean, that could be straightened out very easily. If any court would grant us discovery, Obama would be out of office in 1 week because he couldn't withstand that. I've said to Obama, prove me wrong. Show me wrong, and I'll withdraw my lawsuits, and I'll go away. He never did that because he can't do that. One of my cases was I said he was a fraud when he was a U.S. Senator, and we had this action we brought. We said, see, U.S. Senator, you don't have to be, excuse me, you don't have to be a citizen you don't have to be natural born. But he's fraud because of the information he's given. Where did he come from? I mean, think about this. All of a sudden, he's 2 years Occidental. Then he goes to Columbia University in New York. Someone taking the exact same program that he supposedly took with the pre-law and everything else would have been sitting next to him, doesn't remember ever seeing Obama, meeting Obama, or never seeing him in any class. It just doesn't make sense. Then he goes to Harvard. He becomes head of the law review, but he never wrote an article. I mean, yeah, it's just, if you look at it. Well,
what amazes me, Phil, is that just the sheer push for this guy to get into office in 2007. You go back to 2007 and how the media just worshipped him and flooded in for this guy to get in office. It seemed to me, it's just surreal to me. How the push for him, and who's always a savior and all of this, to bring him in, but we just haven't heard a whole lot about the birth certificate in the last few years, and I don't know why the Republican Party's not bringing this up as this is a non-issue for Republicans right now as he's going in to vote as we're going to November this year. It fathers me. I can't even believe it.
This would be a perfect time for the Republicans to bring it up because by exposing him right now, he would go down the drain. It wouldn't give the party time enough to even substitute a candidate. Even if they could, I think the Democratic Party would be so destroyed by this. So it's a perfect time now for someone to come forth. You can give me your name or not. Send me the documentation, which proves that I'm right. And I'm not trying to say I'm right. There's many other lawyers and other individuals that pushed this. Alex did a great job on this thing for the past 4 years. But he's a fraud. Sure. Bring forth the information to me, Phil Berg, and get me, as you stated, on ObamaCrimes.com. That's OBAMACRIMES.com. ObamaCrimes.com.
ObamaCrimes.com, folks. Be sure to check out the work of Phil. Support him if you can. ObamaCrimes.com. Now, I want to throw out the phone number there, Phil, because I'd like to take some calls, see what folks think of this. It's a controversial issue because, I mean, we've had you on before on this program. I've even interviewed you once before on some of my previous radio programs. If you'd like to chime in on this, again, the number to call in tonight is 877-789-2539, 877-789-ALEX. you'd like to call in, and what do you think of this? What do you make of it yourself? If you're listening in, give us a call. We'd like to get your thoughts on this. And then I got to ask you too on this, Phil. Have you seen this Joel Gilbert film? We sell this film in our store. It's called Dreams of My Real Father. What are your thoughts on this whole Frank Marshall Davis issue as the real father and the CIA connection to his supposed father-in-law or father? What is Philip J. Berg's thoughts on this whole Joel Gilbert slant on this Dreams of My Real Father? Because that's something I'm curious. I've heard your sides for impeachment and your side on this, but what is Phil Berg's thought of this Joel Gilbert's film? I'm sure you're familiar with it, Dreams of My Real Father.
Yeah, I am, and I'm not sure. The thing is, I've tried to stay straight on the fact that everything about him is a phony, and to start going off to someone else being his father, I don't think we have to go that way. But
sure.
I respect any way people are pushing. I haven't seen yet, but the movie 2016, they're telling me, has a lot of exposure around the country. Anything that can open the door on Obama to show what he truly is. He truly is a phony. He's a fraud. And the biggest thing is this is the biggest hoax against the United States of America in our history. So listeners out there, wake up. Tell your friends to, go to my website. You can read everything about this, every pleading, everything's there, because I know that he is a fraud. I mean, I could do anything on that. And people say, well, how can you say that against the president? Well, he doesn't belong as the president. He shouldn't be there. People say are you concerned about your safety? And I say no, because the biggest reason I'll tell you why I'm not worried about my safety is because if something would happen to me, it would take this story from the back page to the front page. And I think that's why they've left me alone. I think the big reason this is going on, there's people like George Soros and other money people in this country that control the press. Unfortunately, we don't have a free press. I laughed when Richard Nixon was talking, either Richard Nixon or George Bush, I'm sorry, one of them was talking about the free press. I think it was George Bush, talking about the free press in Russia, questioning the free press in Russia. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, question the free press in this country, because there's no free press here. That's why it's so important to work on this money bomb so that Alex can continue his efforts to spread the news, the real news, around the world. I mean, look what's going on right now regarding this thing with Libya. Our ambassador was killed. He was murdered. And the administration was playing patsy with all of us by denying it, by sending Ms. Rights, the ambassador to the United Nations, on every talk show on that coming Sunday. And what happened there? Now they're trying to double talk that he said it the next day in the Rose Garden. Well,
that's what we're getting these days now. Is it's the mainstream media in this country is the old Soviet Union Pravda. We've taken lessons from the Russians and the propaganda machine of the Cold War, and it seems that the United States is now learned from Goebbels and the Germans and the Russians, and now that's why it's important, guys, to get involved with this money bomb. 2 days to wake up the world. InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. Support the InfoWars, support Alex Jones, support this network so we can do these types of things and bring this information to you. Who else is going to have Philip J. Berg on, guys? Who else is going to put this type of information on for you to learn about this? Because obviously the Republican Party's not even taking this. This is a non-issue, Phil. Why are the Republicans not talking about this? I can't believe it.
I can't either. I mean, I think it would put the issue over the top. I think it would definitely make Romney run away with it. We can't. If Obama's in for a second term, we're in a real trouble in this country.
Well, sure we are, and you call lesser of the two evils. But I mean, Romney. I'm not even a fan of Romney. But the point is that we don't have a birth certificate issue with Romney. Okay, now Romney's Mormon. Fine. Mormons, but I mean, I don't know. I can't believe that the political party hasn't taken advantage of this. You want to call in and chime in on this with us tonight? Again, the number is 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. If you'd like to maybe open up the phone lines, maybe we can get a call in and chime in on this. What has been your biggest obstacle, Phil, on raising money for this issue?
Well, two things. First off, please, anyone, call in. I will answer any question at any time. I will not duck the issue. I'll speak about it. The biggest problem is the courts have said we don't have standing. And like I say, I filed suit here in the Eastern Federal Court in Philadelphia. I filed a lawsuit in the federal court in Washington, D.C. I have filed in the state court system in Pennsylvania. I've tried and tried and tried. The courts can say we don't have standing, which is, think about it, ladies and gentlemen, it's outrageous. We don't have standing. You know, they say we're not injured. We're all injured by someone who's a fraud. And you know what? We're the laughing stock of the world because people around the world all know that he was born in Kenya. I mean, this is like a joke, and it's a sad joke. You know, and think about the things he did when he first got into office. He went around the world apologizing for the United States of America. What other president did that? Nobody. He bowed down to the Saudi king. He bowed down to the Emperor of Japan. He bowed down to the leader of China. What other president has done that?
Well, it's because he's Muslim.
Absolutely. He's
Muslim is what he is. Let's go to Kim in Georgia and get your phone calls in here. Let's get a couple of calls in. Kim in Georgia, you're on the air with Philip J. Berg.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. Been listening for a while, listening on my iPhone app, contributed Money Bomb, member of Prison Planet TV. My question is for Phil. What about the fact that these walking all over the U.S. code by holding a seat in the UN Security Council? Does that count for anything?
What was the first part? Walking all over? What did you say? I'm sorry.
Isn't there something in the U.S. Code about the president can't not hold more than one seat at the same time? I mean, he's sitting on in the chair of the UN Security Council. Does that not count?
Absolutely. I mean, but see, the thing is with Obama, he doesn't care about the Constitution. He doesn't care about anything. He just does what he wants. I mean, that's one great position, what you're stating. That's illegal, what he did there. There's just so many things that he has done by legislation. If it doesn't pass, he has another executive order. He's got more, I'm trying to think of the right word, his people in the White House that are not confirmed. Russell, you'll come up with that for me.
Let's go to another caller in Hawaii. I can't make up the name there. Tiffany, is that right? Infinite in Hawaii. Let's see, the home place of Obama.
Yes, and that's what I'm calling, exactly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's born in Kenya or not. Really, Hawaii is a sovereign state, and it's illegally occupied. And if you go look at the international laws, actually we have, in the University of Hawaii system, we have a bunch of people actually pursuing this, but so forget about Kenya. I mean, let him say he's born in Hawaii. It doesn't matter. It's still illegal.
So you believe he's not born in Hawaii?
No, it doesn't matter. I'm saying let him say it. I mean, you could say he's born in Hawaii, but Hawaii is illegally occupied by America right now.
Okay.
And news is coming out about that.
Do you have a question for Phil Berg?
Yes, Phil Berg. Look it up. Look up HawaiianKingdom.org. Check out the videos. Check out Keanu Sai and his dissertation. And, become aware of what the truth is about the sovereignty of this state. Because if Obama is born in Hawaii, and this is the case, and these facts are right, and then he is a natural born. He cannot be president.
Great point. I will check that. And you're calling from Hawaii, and you're saying he's basically doesn't belong in office. And I appreciate your comments here. I'll check out the HawaiianKingdom.com. But everyone out there around the world, whatever thoughts you have, if you can't get through on a phone call tonight, send it to our website. ObamaCrimes.com. We'll be glad to look into it because I will do everything in my power. Hopefully he'll be defeated, and I will still go after him because everything he's passed is illegal. Everything he's done is illegal. And what kind of example are we setting for our children and our grandchildren in this country to have a fraud in there as president? So a great issue. I appreciate your... Exactly.
Alfred in California. Let's go to Alfred in California. You're on the air.
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
How you doing, Alfred?
Good. And, I actually had two-part question. The first part is, recently I've been talking with my girlfriend and stuff, and she has arguing one part of her side of saying that she's actually learning part, and I actually remember part of it, that you actually learn in school that if you're born, if you're an immigrant from a different state and you're here for so long, you can actually be president. Can you go in clarification with that?
Well, you can. I mean, it depends the law in existence at that time for someone. Now, if an immigrant comes in and both parents were not U.S. citizens, you can't be qualified to be president of the United States. It's just the law is set out. Like I said, if both parents are U.S. citizens and the child's born any place in the world, and the child comes back, that child could be natural born. When an individual comes in here who's doesn't meet that, they can become naturalized, but not natural born, and they cannot be president. You said you had a second. You said you had a second question.
Why is that?
You said you had a second question.
Your second point, Alfred?
Second point is, how is Obama getting away with defraudulizing this Constitution and what our forefathers set for us? Like, how is it possible that he can do so much tyranny to us and get away with all of this and set laws, and people are not standing up and fighting for it?
Thanks for your call. Thanks for your call, Alfred. Phil?
Alfred, great point, because the national media has never vetted Obama. They decided they want to have a black individual here, and like I say, I'm open-minded. I'm not prejudiced, but they decided that, and we don't have a free press in this country, and they didn't vet it, and then there's no checks and balances in our legal system to say a person running for president must show documentation, and I think it's outrageous. But see, we've never had a person like this because, like I said, Arnold Schwarzenegger, before his current problems, people kept asking him to run for president. And what did he constantly say?
I don't want to run for president, Phil. I don't want to be the president. I just want to love Maria.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And that's the difference here. We have someone who honors our system, and we have someone who's illegal or fraud. And what kind of example is he to everyone in this country? Because if he really was legit, then upon the first lawsuit, he should have produced documentation. He should have said, hey, Phil, hey, Mr. Berg, I'm going to send you with our lawyers, give you permission to go to Hawaii to open up and look at the original records. He never did that. He's fought it and fought it and fought it. Why has he fought the issue? Because he's a fraud.
Well, look, and he fought for the long form birth certificate, spent millions of dollars of taxpayers' dollars to defend against showing it in April of 2011, where he released what he claims was his real birth certificate then. But the question is, what was he releasing? Was it genuine or fake? Because it seemed to be fake. InfoWars staff looked at this stuff back then, and you look at it under Photoshop or Illustrator, Phil, and it's got all these, wishy-washy stuff. I mean, I'm no expert in Photoshop, but I know the program. I run the graphics department here for the magazine. And I'm telling you, if you look at these birth certificates, there's Photoshop stuff in there, Phil.
Right. And how about the birth certificate that came out? I can't think of the gentleman that brought it forth, but he said he was over in Kenya, and he brought it back with the footprint of the president supposedly on it. I'm sure you've seen that birth certificate. Well, I was in a cab in Florida with that individual sitting next to me, and he showed me, and he swore that was his birth certificate. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I really don't believe it, but I'll believe it if you can show me that your papers, the documentation that you were actually in Mombasa, Kenya, show me your passport, show me your airfare, your hotel, and everything else, and then I'll believe it, because then you would show me that at the time you got this document, you were there. Do you think he ever sent that information to me?
Of course not.
Then we found out after the fact that he had previously been convicted of forgery. So, a great guy that we had to come up with phony information.
Robert in Washington. Where were you born, Robert?
Born in San Diego, California.
Hallelujah. You were born in San Diego? No, you weren't. You were born in Kenya. You were born in Kenya.
That's right, Kenya. No, I was a Navy brat. My dad was in the Navy. He is in law enforcement, and so am I here in the state of Washington. He's about to retire, and we have been consistently trying to inform our coworkers about the state of where things are at right now politically. And yes, I mean, everybody's tuning into the bandwagon that yeah, you know, Obama is not from the United States. It took me a while to get my father convinced, but after showing him the films and all the documentation, I mean, it raises eyebrows. And a lot of us are waking up here in the state of Washington to it. My sister's she attends Washington State University, and she's been waking people up. I got her on this InfoWars stuff here about 6 months ago, and people have been waking up. So people in the state of Washington are really, really going for it, and they're starting to put their foot forward.
Well, we're glad to hear that, Robert, and you know, thanks for the kind words. And we've got some interest from folks in the Washington area that are interested in a franchise for InfoWars magazine as well. So, you have a question for Phil?
I do. If Obama is put back in the office, I mean, what do you think is going to be the actual? I mean, Obama's already triggered a lot, and he's already raised a lot of eyebrows based on what he's talked about, especially in the debates. What do you think is going to be the main thing that will open up a lot of people's eyes as far as for them to even really start doing something about it? Because at this point, it really seems that people know about the things that he's doing, but what exactly do you think it's going to trigger the people to get the attention that Obama? I mean, is that making sense?
Yeah, thanks for your call, Robert. What's really going to take to wake people up, Phil?
I don't know what more, because the things that he has done detrimental to this country are so outrageous. You know, the biggest factor, I mean, just touch on Obamacare is a nightmare. Gas prices were, $1.89 when he took office, and now they're $4. And out there where you are, Robert, you're Washington State, the person before was San Diego. Out in California, it's like $5 a gallon for gas. There's so many other things. You know, he takes credit for more drilling here in the United States, but he didn't do it. He's cut off drilling. He is doing everything to make this country like it's not what it is. He's trying to make this country like in Europe, to the detriment of all of us. You know, like he's trying to redistribute the wealth. He's trying to do things so adverse to each one of us. And unfortunately, people have not waken up enough to say, I'm going to stop this, because what he's doing is, inch by inch, he's taking away our rights. And that's very scary. I mean, even right now, there's word that keeps coming up that Hillary Clinton's going to go into this arms deal and sign some arms thing with the United Nations.
Exactly. It's about taking away your rights. It's about getting you off your rocker. Let's go to. I'm going to go real quick to James in Florida. What do you think, James? You were born in Malaysia, right, James?
I was born in New York, but I just have a question for Phil.
Sure. Go ahead, James.
I was wondering, what's your opinion on the Zionist control over the U.S. media?
Well, I don't know. You know, someone's controlling it. I'm not sure if the Zionists. I don't think they really are. But you have people like George Soros, which is, I mean, the media now in this country is owned by 3 or 4 individuals that are behind it, and I think that hurts all of us. We should insist on a free press. It's a joke when they don't question Obama about anything versus the Constitution. So I'm not sure who's controlling it, but it's controlled press, and it's to the detriment of most of the citizens of this country, and we better wake up before it's too late.
Well, I mean, if you look into it, they all are Zionists. The information's out there.
Well, I can tell you who's not free press. We are not. We are independent media right here at InfoWars. The InfoWars Money Bomb. Let's take a quick break, real quick, and we'll come back. I want to thank Phil Berg. Phil, let's go take a real quick break here. I want to take a minute here, and then I want to thank you for staying up with us. And again, reiterate to the listeners, the InfoWars Money Bomb.com. Be sure to check out the site. If you can't donate $25 or $50, guys, buy some magazines. Hell, buy this shirt. It's signed by Alex. There you go. There's the boogeyman right there from Malaysia, Kenya, Hawaii. Anyway, we'll be right back. InfoWars Money Bomb, our guest, Philip J. Berg, on the other side. We'll be right back.
Who controls the past, controls the future. Who controls the present, controls the past.
The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat al-Qaeda.
All you got to do is start looking around, start thinking for yourself, start investigating things, and you will see it all right there. So you have the power. Humanity has the power. We have the power. Do you want to fight? You better believe you got one.
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories.
As for me, give me liberty or give me death. It's the InfoWars Money Bomb 2012, October 18th and 19th, 48-hour special transmission. The tyrants need to know we're coming for them, and the InfoWar is expanding, and the people of America and the world are awakening and behind us.
While the global scientific dictatorship is busy injecting toxins into our water supply to dumb us down, we're busy injecting reality into society. It's the beginning of the end for the New World Order. Donate at InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com.
All right. We are back with our guest, Philip J. Berg, from the website ObamaCrimes.com. And we are talking about Obama and this whole birth certificate issue. I cannot believe the Republicans are not using this as a talking point, Phil. If you were a Republican, wouldn't you be burning him at the stake with this?
Absolutely. But every time the Democrats make it up like, oh, it's the birther movement, and they're after. I'm considered, I think, the father of the birthers. I don't care what title you put me on here, but let's just get to the truth. I mean, if one of these papers, the major papers in this country, the New York Times, Washington Post, would just ask the questions, but they won't. And now, there's two in bed with Obama. If he keeps going down in the polls, maybe they will come up with it. But as I stated, it's a guarantee for Obama to lose if we can expose Obama. And we still have 3 weeks left to do that. So make sure you contribute to Money Bomb. If you can send us some money also at ObamaCrimes.com, we would put up a reward. Someone out there, if you're a multi-millionaire, which I know there's many people, and I'm sure they listen to Alex, if you can put up the money, it won't cost you a penny until we get the right information. I'd like to see $2 million reward to put up there to expose Obama. And someone out there that is contributing I think Romney raised like $190 million last month. I mean, so much money is being raised and spent and wasted. This thing is, you won't have to spend the money. We just have to post it through a bank. And once the information's up there, then you'd have to pay the money. But it would do this country justice because we deserve it, ladies and gentlemen. We deserve the truth. And the truth is, Obama and Michelle Obama and everyone around him from the early campaign and everyone around him now in the White House, they know he's a fraud. They know he's a phony. Everyone should be not just put in jail because that's not our system. Our system is everyone around him should be indicted, should be tried in our court systems, and anyone convicted should go to jail.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Phil? Is Obama being set up to fail, in your opinion?
No, I don't think so, because if so, the money people would switch to someone else. The reason, they're talking about buying this $8 million or $5 million property in Hawaii for Obama is because he has given millions of dollars to his, quote, friends. He's appointed to people. He's given deals that we don't even know all these deals. Look at the money he's put out there, which have gone down the drain on these heat shields. Obama has paid off his friends. And I assure you, if he loses between November and January 20th, he'll be also paying off in so many ways because he has time there, and he'll do it. He's scary, everyone. He's frightening. You got to stop him. Help me expose Obama, and we can do it in the next 3 weeks.
ObamaCrimes.com, our guest Philip J. Berg. It just seems to me like, though, Phil, that there's a lot of talking points on mainstream Cinderella media, where they are trying to make Obama out to be this perfect fall guy to set up some type of a civil unrest or cause race wars or race riots. Or what are your thoughts on this? Does that make sense, or are I'm really missing the ball here. It's just that, hey, you got to be a U.S. citizen to be president. That's what it's really about.
That's it. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen out there, people, if he loses, please, we don't need race riots in this country. I mean, I think Obama's presidency has hurt the blacks in this country, which might take forever to recover. But please, if he loses, we don't need anything here. It comes down to the fact that one individual, one member of the black community, Obama, has lied to all of us in this country. So there's no reason for race riot.
That's right.
Like I say, I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. I'm for fair, I'm for freedom.
You're a Democrat, you're a lifetime member of the NAACP. This is not what we need anyway. It's about the Constitution, and it's about being a United States citizen, and it's about action. And it's about time, after 4 years, that we look for the real answers on this birth certificate. Final thoughts, Phil Berg.
Pleasure to be on you. Give my best to Alex Jones, everyone. Russell, it's great to be on with you. Everyone contribute to Money Bomb. It's really essential to keep Alex Jones, to get the word out. And if you can also, don't give to me rather than him. Match it. Give me the same thing, ObamaCrimes.com. And if someone out there has the $2 million to post, I'll get a reward out there so fast, and they'll cover it. And someone out there who has the information will produce it, and then we'll get Obama where he belongs, in jail, not in the White House.
Thank you so much for your time tonight, Phil Berg, ObamaCrimes.com. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
All right, there he goes, Phil Berg from Obama Crimes. Guys, if you come to InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com, give us $5. Don't forget about Phil. He's got a great campaign. God, if there's some wealthy philanthropist out there, support us with a big donation, but make a small donation to Phil too. I think it's a great idea what he's doing. Why that hasn't been used as fuel in the fire for the Republican Party, I have no idea. Anyway, I'm Russell, the general manager for InfoWars Magazine. Stick around, more InfoWars Money Bomb coming your way. Up next, Dan Badandi, gonna have 3 hours. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he's drinking lots of coffee. Dan Badandi, InfoWars Money Bomb. I'm Russell. We'll see you next time. We got 36 more hours of this stuff. Stick around, InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com.
Visit InfoWars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the sites, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.